In the last video, we chopped up this tree and we took this section out and milled it, and it was absolutely beautiful. In this video, we're gonna try to tackle this. This is where a twin top had split. So this is basically the stump of one of the sides, and where it comes together, it ought to be a really beautiful figure. I can already see like curly looking stuff here. But in order to get it to the sawmill and on the sawmill, I'm actually gonna try to rip it in half with a chainsaw. One challenge is, this is a 20-inch bar, and it's about 24 inches at the narrow side, and it gets a little bit bigger over here. So we're gonna have to get creative with how we get it broken in half. It's only about 5 feet long. So with all that, I'm Dan McCright. Let's get started. We have a lot of dirt to deal with too. Could be hard on a chain. When this thing broke, this is just the root ball here that broke off. So it's full of dirt, hopefully not rocks. I've never ripped a log in half before, so this should be interesting. That's the ugliest cut I've ever seen. We got the logs over to the mill last night after dark, so today we're gonna mill them up. But first, it is cold and windy out here, so I need to get warmed up. So I'm actually gonna cut some of these offcuts from last time into firewood. And if you notice when I was rip cutting that log yesterday, I started to get really sloppy. I mean, you can see how ugly of a cut was. Part of it's just me, but cutting into that stump wood, I definitely dulled the chain. I can see it here. So I'm just gonna sharpen this up real quick, and we're gonna get into it. Should be a fun day. I'm so excited to see what's inside of those logs. So I've got some decisions to make here. I've got these two halves, and I don't know what to expect with figure. I'm hoping it'll be really curly, wild figure, kind of like burl type stuff. So I'm gonna try to slab this one going this way, and the other one I would do the opposite of that. The problem is this mill's not big enough to slab it just like this. I'm gonna have to take a little off. Of course, I wanna keep the live edge, but as you can see, there's so much rot here that I think if I just shave that off, even though I might lose some live edge, I probably still will have mostly live edge. I'm freaking excited about this. I've got an old sawmill blade on because there's a lot of dirt and I don't want to smoke a new blade. So we may have to change blades pretty quickly, but we'll see. It's gonna be interesting to see if this is even worth the time to do these stumps, because if it's all rot and I go through blades and chains and put all my time and energy into them and they just don't provide much, they might not be worth it. So we'll find out, I guess. But yeah, there's a lot of rot on this one. I'm just gonna show you to make things a little more clear if I'm not clear enough. This is the HM126, which can cut a 26-inch diameter log, but the actual cut is 24 inches. So I can only cut 24 inches wide. And that's a little deceiving because while the log kind of rounds up and you can get 24 up here, the log stop is actually a couple inches in. So what that really means is if I'm gonna cut down to the bottom and I have the log laying in this orientation, I can really only be about 22 inches wide, more like 21 to be safe. I've done things where I've kind of like rigged stuff up so I eliminated the log stop, but that just gets weird. I just thought I'd let you know that, so whenever these mills advertise their cut width and their diameter, it depends on how you're cutting the log. It doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna get slabs that are that big all the way to the bottom, just so you know. I didn't know that when I bought the mill. I still love this mill, but as you can see, I'm already wishing I had a bigger mill. So that's our first log, and I'm pretty pleased. There's quite a bit of rot in it. These three are all 2.5 inches thick, and then these are both an inch thick or 4/4. I may end up using these and make some coffee tables or something interesting out of them, but it's gonna take a couple years to dry, and then I'll have to kiln dry them because I wanna make sure there's no bugs living inside of them. Yeah, look at all that color. Yeah, we got the rave fleck. We just got cool patterns. This is really cool, kind of the crotch section. And then, yeah, like I said, there's a lot of rot in it, so it's definitely gonna be an epoxy style table. I mean, this right here is so cool though. This would be cool to save somehow. I wanna show you that. You can see right here, we got little ribbons and stuff like that. And over here, look at this. This right here, I find beautiful. Just the grain is just all over. It's kind of like hair. Obviously, you'd wanna stabilize this rot with epoxy. But yeah, that's got a lot of potential. I love it. So as you saw, I cut the other one like this. I'm gonna slab this one all the way down like this. I'm hoping that it can make like sofa tables or something. It's pretty thin here, it's like 9 inches and less, but then it gets a little wider. And so hopefully this turns out cool, I don't know. Like I say, this is kind of an experiment, cutting wood like this. But yeah, we're just gonna slab it down and see what happens. I'm gonna have to cut this down a little with a chainsaw because we're right at the limit of what this sawmill can handle, but we'll see what happens. That made some very interesting wood. The question I had was, is it even worth messing with these things? These are obviously going to be epoxy style projects because there's all this rot that needs to be stabilized. Who knows how well it'll dry. It could crack and move and do all kinds of crazy things. But it's beautiful. I cut all these at 1.5 inches, so I figure sofa tables, charcuterie boards, cutting boards, cheese boards, whatever. And to be honest, I think I might try to make some of that stuff out of these once they're dry because these are just gorgeous. The character, grains all over the place. So yeah, man, I'm happy. So now let's grab the water and just see some of the cool stuff we made. But oh, I'm just so happy. Look at that. Oh, the character. Got ray fleck going on, got curly figure. So the biggest question I had was, is it even worth messing with this stump wood, this stuff that's in the dirt? And this is definitely very unique, character-filled wood. Once this is dry, I'm gonna take a few of these pieces myself and see if I can make some cool stuff out of them. Let the wood speak to me, if you will. Definitely worth it, but honestly, I thought I'd smoke the blade a lot faster than that blade. It cut the last white oak that we cut and this one. So it's done a lot of work and it's still going, still cutting flat. It's getting a little dull. It was harder on the chainsaw really than anything, but I like cutting up this dead, gnarly wood that most people would just leave behind because obviously it wouldn't be worth it for a lot of people, but for me it is. I think it's beautiful. So as usual, I'm gonna go sticker and stack all this and then I'll see you in the next video. If you're watching it here in the US and it's Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving. And thank you for watching, I appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed it, hope you learned something. I sure did. See you in the next one. So freaking gorgeous.